Welcome back, YouTube pipe smokers. Bun Chop Piper here. Well, today's video is entitled Famous People and What They Smoked. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that you understand that the information about famous people and the tobacco that they smoked is sketchy at best. So I tried my best. I went on the internet. I did some investigating to try to find the best information I can. Some of the information may not be correct, and if you know for a fact that, hey, this person didn't smoke this type of tobacco, they smoked another type of tobacco, then just leave it in the comments. Or else that or maybe a certain famous person smoked more than one blend, and I was just able to find one of the blends that they smoked. So take it with a grain of salt. This is the best that I could come up with on these people. Now, this is volume 1. As time goes on, if I find out there's more people out there, more famous people, and we find out what type of tobacco that they smoked, I'm gonna do another video on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the picture, give you a little information about the person, and tell you what kind of tobacco they smoked. Okay, so first person that we're going to look at is Albert Einstein. Now, Albert Einstein was German-born. Once the Second World War started, he left Germany and came to this country, and he's a physicist. Let's see, he's a physicist, and the type of tobacco that he smoked was a tobacco called Revelation. Now, I'm not sure if any of these tobaccos you can still get, and I don't really know what Revelation was. What kind of was it an aromatic or was it a English blend? I'm not sure. So I just know, just trying to find the type of tobacco they smoked or the blend of tobacco they smoked was hard enough. I don't know if there's any way that we could say what kind of, what blend it was. I'm not blend, but what flavor, aromatic or English or vapor. All right. All right. Next on the list is, of course, my favorite author, Jrr Tolkien. He is the writer who wrote The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, and he is famous for smoking Capstan Navy Cut. Reason why they know that he smoked that blend at least was all the tins that his kids would keep, little trinkets in, and they'd keep, washers and bolts and nuts and stuff like that. All right, moving on. Okay, the next one is the 38th President of the United States, Gerald Ford. Now, Gerald Ford wasn't actually elected. He was appointed by outgoing President Nixon to succeed him during the Watergate fiasco. And let's see. Gerald Ford smoked House of Windsor's Field and Stream. All right. The next one is Bing Crosby, who was a very popular singer and actor during the 50s and 60s. And Bing Crosby smoked Crooner. And I have heard that Cornell and Deal still makes this blend, but I didn't verify that, so I'm not sure if they do or not, but that's the rumor. All right, the next one Joseph Stalin. Now, Stalin was the leader of Russia. He was the president of Russia, I guess you might say, during the Second World War. And he's kind of got an interesting story about pipe smoking. And let me read this to you. Joseph Stalin smoked a blend of tobacco called Herzegovina Flor. Actually, the tobacco was a cigarette blend that Stalin loved so much that he broke it up. He broke up the cigarettes and filled his pipe with it. Eventually, the tobacco was renamed Stalin's Choice. So I thought that was kind of interesting. All right. Let's moving on. The next one may not be famous to a lot of people, but this man's name is Chesty Puller. And he's very famous in the Marine Corps lore. He was one of those generals that he had no fear. He would lead his men from the front. He was wounded several times. He was just a real man's man, tough as nails. The reason why they called him Chesty Puller is because when he was young, he had really bad asthma, and his chest kind of grew a little bit abnormally, so he had a lot of chest, so they called him Chesty Puller. And he smoked Prince Albert. All right. Next up, Samuel Clemens, or, as a lot of us know him, Mark Twain. Now, Mark Twain was a famous writer here in the United States, and he smoked tobacco called Blackwell's Durham, or later known as Bull Durham. He also smoked a blend called Lone Jack. All right, moving on. This man's name is Basil Rathbone. He was an English actor, and he was famous for being Sherlock Holmes during the movies in the 50s. And he smoked Wilkes number 515. It's a Virginia Black Cavendish with a rum topping. All right. The next one up is C.S. Lewis. He was a good friend of Jrr Tolkien. They got together on several occasions and would read each other their stories, how they were going. C.S. Lewis wrote the Narnia series, and he smoked 3 nuns. Okay, next is General Macarthur. Now, he's famous for only smoking corncob pipes, and he was a general during the Second World War. General Macarthur, he smoked a blend called Harkness D or Harkness F, and rumor has it that if he ran out of these blends, he would smoke anything that the PX was selling. For those that don't know what a PX is, it's a store that only soldiers can access. It's a store that has, food and tobacco and things like that. So that's what's called a PX. Okay. All right, the next one is Humphrey Bogart. He's a famous American actor, and Humphrey Bogart smoked Gawith and Hogarth Brown Bogey, sorry. And I have one more for you. The last one on the list. Now, this guy is really famous. He's been around quite a long time. And he smoked something unusual, but he seemed to like it. This gentleman's name is Popeye the Sailorman. He's a cartoon figure, and he did quite a few movies during the 40s and 50s and 60s. And he smoked a blend called Spinach Blend Number 47. It's very, very earthy, very light and earthy blend. Just thought I'd throw that in there for you. All right, well, that's it for Volume 1. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll do another volume if I get enough information about other pipe smokers. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And until my next video, I want to wish you and your family happy piping.